House. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Witchfinger Horror Podcast. My name is Yasmina, and to my right is Megan.
Hi.
And to my left is Morgan.
Hello.
And tonight we are watching House.
Bing bong. Ding dong, you're dead.
Seriously, that is the best fucking tagline ever. I actually like the tagline more than this movie. It's the best. I love that tagline. I used to just say it all the time.
People think that is actually the name of the movie.
Ding Dong, You're Dead?
Yeah.
Better title.
I've seen people
Way
searching
better.
for that, like, you know, when you type into Google, like,
Yeah.
searches and, like, other searches that people have asked before come up. Ding Dong, You're Dead is one of them.
They should have gone, honestly. Best title. They should have gone for it. Especially because it's a silly movie. What a silly title that would have been.
I know. You know, it would be actually kind of funny to get, like ding tattooed
Stop
on
it!
one knuckles and, like, dong on the other one, and then, like, your and then dead.
Oh my god!
Your would have to be spelled the wrong way.
Yeah.
Whatever! That would be amazing. Ding dong, you're dead.
There's other good taglines for this movie, too, though. Not as good as Ding Dong, You're Dead. The one that's, you're cordially invited to spend an evening with Roger Cobb and his friends. Don't come alone. And also, horror has found a new home. But Ding Dong, You're Dead is probably the best one.
It is. It's pretty fucking fabulous.
Who fucking came
love
up with
it.
that, man?
I know. I don't know, actually.
So good.
Whoever did, genius. House was released in 1986. It's directed by Steve Miner. So Steve Miner also directed Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3. And Part 2 was actually the first movie that he directed. And he is the only person who has directed more than one Friday the 13th movie. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's pretty cool.
He also directed Warlock.
Yes,
I just embrace
Warlock.
Julian Sands being cast as Warlock because he fucking looks like a warlock. The casting for that movie was just spot on. He also directed Halloween H2O,
Which is really bad.
I don't really remember it very well, but it's better than Resurrection.
Way better. Still.
Yeah.
You know what,
the hype around that movie was big.
H2O?
At the time. Yeah.
The thing is,
Oh, yeah.
H2O
I
is
saw
a
it in
victim to the
theaters.
90s, though.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Most 90s horror movies, with the exception of, like, Scream and a few others, were like, wah. Not great.
For sure.
And Lake
so
Placid.
Oh, no, I was just going to say Lake Placid. Betty White.
God.
That movie is, like, fun, though.
I don't
It's like
remember
Anaconda,
it.
Anaconda, right? Like,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Totally silly.
Another victim of the 90s movie.
And
So.
also, I didn't know this, but the Day of the Dead remake. I didn't know that they remade Day of the Dead, and, like, Mina Suvari is in it.
Who's that?
American Beauty.
Yeah.
Oh, that hot blonde chick.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that she's in it. Let me just double check.
Wait, what movie are we talking about
The
again?
Day of the Dead remake.
Oh.
It's like a loose remake,
Okay.
but isn't that weird? I didn't know that this movie was even made. And
Okay, look this shit up,
Steve
because
Miner,
I'm
it came out in 2008. And yeah, Steve Miner
Is that the poster?
directed it. Yeah, the poster looks
Oh, God.
pretty interesting. But yeah.
Who else is in it?
Did they not promote it or something?
I don't know. Nick
how-
Cannon? Nick
No,
Cannon's in
no,
it?
no.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
super weird. I
I
never
do not
knew.
believe that.
I honestly never knew that this movie was even made.
Yeah, I
and
didn't.
as I was doing my research, I was like, oh, there was a Day of the Dead remake?
God.
Weird.
It would
That's
have to be
interesting.
very, very loose, I think.
Yeah. Well, before Steve Miner became a director, he was actually an editor for Wes Craven. So he worked on Last House on the Left.
That's
and
cool.
he was also an editor for Sean S. Cunningham, who is a producer on House.
Right.
And it's funny because, like, before the movie starts, we're watching it on VHS right now, and before the movie starts, there's, like, 4 of the exact trailer playing over and over again at the beginning of this movie, and one of them had the Friday the 13th, like, music.
Yeah,
like
it actually did. It was like...
Yeah.
It's so weird. This actually, I think, is the copy that Tanya and I used to rent when we were in high school. Like, we'd have sleepovers and we're like, let's watch House. And this copy was like a similar one. It had like 4 or 5 different trailers of House. The same trailer before the movie got started. So this is very nostalgic.
Yeah, I was like, this. It's a house.
This
This is also a house.
It's just funny funny that they used the same. Yes, Billy.
This
Billy
guy's
Idol.
hair at the book signing.
Yeah, the like
That's hot.
super blonde goth guy.
It's not like this movie had serial killer. It's not like this movie had a small budget, like that they had to rip off the music from Friday the 13th, or they had to like put all these corny trailers. It was pretty well funded.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
budget
Yeah,
I
it
think
was $3
estimated
million.
3 million. Yeah,
Like,
so
yeah.
that's especially in the 80s, mid 80s.
And for like a movie that was geared to be cheesy horror, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, in the box office, they made $22.1
did.
million.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
I read
Yeah.
it came in second to Pretty in Pink.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the
it
box
did.
offiess.
Yep.
And so
House is so much better than Pretty in Pink.
right and
Totally.
like to come in second to Pretty in Pink, which is
Yeah,
iconic,
that's huge, yeah.
and this movie's kind of slid under the radar. That's a
Yeah,
big deal.
that
you
is
know?
a big deal. I'm not a big fan of Pretty in Pink. I don't know. I just never really liked it. I like 16 Candles
Oh,
and
yeah. Long Duck
The
Dawn,
Breakfast.
obvious.
Yeah, The Breakfast Club better. But yeah, Pretty in Pink, I just find that Ducky character so annoying.
Stop! I was gonna say, but Doug, your boyfriend's in it though.
James Spader.
Yes.
Oh, and
No,
like
he's in
at the
60
prime of
Candles.
his like
He's in
sexiness.
Pretty
too.
in Pink.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I get all my John Hughes like girly movies
They're all the
mixed
same.
up. Yeah. Best one is Weird Science though.
Oh yeah, I rewatched Weird Science recently. I think I watched it in the last month.
Yeah, you said you had to watch it with Ben.
Yeah, because he'd never seen it. He was like, I didn't know Bill
A man of
Paxton was in this
science
movie.
had never seen
I
Weird
know.
Science.
He's like, yeah, I didn't know Bill Paxton was
Poser.
in it. It's like, you gotta see the shit.
Yeah.
It's still fun.
Well, House was written by Fred Decker, and he also wrote and directed Night of the Creeps, which I fucking love
Yeah.
so much, and Monster Squad.
Yeah, fucking right, he did.
And he also co-wrote RoboCop 3 with
Ooh,
Frank Miller.
amazing.
And I don't really remember RoboCop 3, but I remember bits and pieces of it, and remembering that it's really super fucked up. Like, it's really weird. And
Those movies in general, though, RoboCop is.
I
Like,
love the first RoboCop.
You know what?
It's really disturbing.
RoboCop
They're
actually
disturbing.
does kind of fuck me up, and I know that like a lot of people sort of see that movie as like looking back nostalgically, it's like kind of like a kids movie. But like
Oh,
no
it's
way,
violent
man.
as fuck,
There's
man.
something so demented about how they bring him back, and he's
Exactly.
like struggling with his identity. And at the end, when he takes his fucking mask off,
I
his
like
like
when the
face
guy's
is like
melting.
stuck to the fucking. That shit fucks me up, man.
Yeah.
Even to this day.
Yeah.
It's just really, it has a lot of existential like questions and stuff. What makes you human? And
Well, especially with the way
yeah.
technology's going
Why,
right now.
why do you cry?
why do you cry? I actually said that this morning.
Amazing.
It's in my everyday lexicon.
Why do you cry? But yeah, so Fred Decker, he also wrote a bunch of Tales from the Crypt episodes
That's fucking
and
super
Star
cool.
Trek Enterprise, the one with Scott Bakula.
Amazing.
And he's also a co-screenwriter for the new Predator movie.
The what?
The new Predator movie.
Coming out?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the new year. They're
gonna be
making
good?
a new Predator movie, and Michael Keegan-Key is in it, like from Key and Peele.
Yes.
And I'm a big Predator fan, so I'm going in like open-minded.
I bet you it's gonna be violent like the
Oh,
new
fuck yeah,
Rambo
man.
was.
Oh,
because
God,
Alien
yeah.
versus Predator were so I'm just saying I hope that it doesn't go
Yeah.
Well,
I hope it's going to be
The
awesome.
Predator story is actually written by Shane Black, who
Yeah.
Fred Decker worked with on the Monster Squad and a few other movies as well. And Shane Black has written, he did Lethal Weapon, he did Monster Squad, he did Last Action Hero, he did Iron Man 3.
Love Last Action
And
Hero.
Yeah,
also,
same.
as an actor, he was actually Hawkins in the first Predator movie
Yeah, I
as
know.
well.
Yeah, I saw that. So, like,
Oh.
Fred and Shane have been working together for many, many years.
Yeah, like their credits, like tons of credits together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Shane is also an actor in Night of the Creeps and RoboCop 3 as well. And so Fred has also stated that the script for House was actually inspired by the Twilight Zone movie. And him and Steve Miner, the director of House, and Shane Black and a man named Ethan Wiley, they wrote an anthology together, but it just never happened. So House turned out to be Fred's segment in the anthology that
That would have
never
been
happened.
a really great short story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the original script was meant to be horror without any comedy. Like, this
Oh.
movie was actually supposed to be completely horror
Of
and
course,
not funny
yeah.
at all. But then the comedy was included when that fourth guy, Ethan Wiley, rewrote the script.
Good call.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good call, though.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I could see it going both ways. Like, much like Return of the Living Dead, which is another, like, classic, like, horror comedy movie from the same era. It's like, I could see how this could be written really, really frightening and also kind of funny. Like the creatures and stuff make it silly, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's very Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah,
The creature design are very animated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his reactions as well are like kind
over
of
the top.
What adds to the comedy aspect.
Yeah, like a little goofy. Well, this is when you were talking about the story about a writer who has writer's block that moves into this house that's like haunted. Maybe Megan, you can like give some insight on this. Isn't that like kind of like Secret Window by Stephen King?
Yeah.
Like it actually reminds me of that story.
Yeah, but that's the only similarity, right? Is that
I've never read the book or anything, but I did watch the movie.
Oh,
and
the
I was
book is
like,
so
oh,
good.
that's interesting. It's so when was the book written? A long time ago?
So the book is actually a short story. It wasn't written before 1985 though, 86. So this movie was in development in 85. So Secret Window wasn't written before 85.
Yeah.
However, I've read a bunch of like King's thoughts on a lot of his stories, and he never mentioned that he pulled it from here. He mentioned more that he took from his experience of being an author.
Right.
And being pulled between those two personas of being a human and being an author and trying to figure that out. Yeah, I guess now that you mention it, it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Just like moves away to find himself. I just want to talk about him so bad. Can we get to his character, please?
Go!
Who? Roger.
Roger Cobb, William Cat.
Fuck, man, when he was in Carrie, I wanted to suck his dick
He's
so
got a very
hard.
like 70s like funk disco look to him.
Ugh,
like
he's
he
a
was like the
babe.
perfect guy to be
butt
in Carrie. And
his hair.
yeah, like I definitely recognize him the most from House and Carrie, but me personally, a movie that I watched when I was a kid that like stuck in my memory forever is Baby, The Secret of the Lost Legend.
Oh my god! I can't believe you're talking about this fucking movie.
Okay, do you remember that movie?
It's about a fucking
It's like a
dinosaur.
little dinosaur. Like they find.
Oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's Mokili Mabembe. Do you remember?
Why is it called Baby?
Is that
because
what they name him? I don't remember.
Okay, so they go to Africa and there are sightings of Brontosaurus,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I guess they find the infant, like the baby Brontosaurus, and it's lost, and they're trying to reunite it with its mother. I honestly didn't even correlate the fact that he was in this fucking movie because I think about that movie all the time.
Man, I think about it all the time too because me and my
Great
brother, when we were
movie.
kids, we used to rent it all the time. And as I grew older, I would like before the internet, obviously, I would be asking my friends, "Do you guys remember a movie where like there's this couple, they find this little like dinosaur and it kind of looks like a brontosaurus, but it's like a baby, and like nobody knew what I was talking about."
That's what, like Mokili Mabembe. That is I think. Because that in the jungle where they find it, that is the Congolese name that they give to a brontosaurus. Because apparently, some true facts about this, scientists have gone to that area and shown them photographs of animals and said, "Do you know what this is?" And if it's native to the area, they say yes. And if they don't, like, "Do you know what this is?" And it's like a bear, they say no, and they show them a picture of the brontosaurus, and they say, "That's Mokili Mabembe," and that means river. That means river fucking monster or some shit.
Is there an Unsolved Mysteries episode on this by any chance?
There might be actually,
or Ancient Aliens.
there might be, but yeah.
Aliens.
Some people believe that there might be descendants of brontosaurus living in the Congo somewhere.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Well, I
probably
totally
are.
remember that
Probably
movie, Baby.
Probably are.
Yeah.
Fuck, now I need to watch that shit again.
Yeah.
it's so good.
Oh, it's
And-
probably awful.
But
Was it Disney though? Do you
I
remember?
think
It was
so.
very
I was gonna
like
say,
Disney-esque.
it must be
there
Disney.
were a few, and there was another horror movie, quote unquote horror, where it was, what was it fucking called? Where it was like these eggs that hatched, and they were little dinosaurs. They were like this big, and they would like terrorize. Fuck.
15% on Rotten Tomatoes,
anyways.
so baby's not. But look at his face.
Yeah.
He's fucking
So
weird
cute.
looking. That's so funny. So yeah, that's where I know William.
But
Cat
like when
from.
I read that he had auditioned and was strongly considered for Luke Skywalker,
Yeah,
I
I
can
thought,
see that.
yes.
I can
Yes,
see that.
I can definitely see
100%
that.
yes. In
Well,
that
they
little
look the
robe,
same.
they look so
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that
similar.
like kind of like boyish kind of quality to him.
Yeah.
Apparently, when he auditioned as well, he auditioned with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, because
Oh.
Kurt Russell auditioned for Han Solo.
Oh,
What a
dude.
different world we would live in.
Oh no! Oh yes!
No or yes. No or
hot.
yes.
He's hot. Han's
He's a babe.
fucking whatever his name is.
Harrison
Fuck
Ford.
Harrison Ford, Han Solo.
He was a babe, though.
He's ugly. No, he's not. I don't think
Kurt
he's
Russell was
Kurt
a
Russell
bigger
is like,
babe.
His
especially in
hair.
The Thing. That beard.
That's funny.
No, Escape from New York.
Escape from New York. All the way.
I don't know. I kind of like him bearded and a little fucked up.
I love me a
That's
man
funny.
with an eye
Well,
patch.
he's
Escape from
badass
LA.
in
Fuck.
both, but he's very badass.
He's
in,
very
in the
sexy.
Thing. Yeah.
Very sexy.
Is Kurt Russell the one who's married to Goldie Hawn?
Yeah.
Well, they're not married; they're just
No,
together.
they're life partners.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, also, I just want to say something really quick. That real estate agent that was like showing him the house, he's the fucking guy who works at the hotel in Ghostbusters when they go. Because I was looking at all the actors in this movie, and I was like, where do I know that guy from? Oh, Ghostbusters. That's it. When they're busting the ghost in the hotel dining room or whatever, and then he's standing outside and he's like getting all like flustered and frantic.
You hear
'cause all
shit
the,
smashing
I
everywhere.
know. Yeah. But yeah, so like William Catt, he does a lot of TV and very prominent character in Perry Mason.
Huh?
Perry Mason? You don't remember that show? It was kind of like...
there's an Aussie song about it. Hello.
I didn't know that.
Perry Mason. Anyways.
That's a good Aussie impression.
Thank you. Actually, also his mother and father were both actors, and Barbara Hale is his mother, and apparently she was in a fucking shit ton of Perry Mason too.
Oh.
It's like Perry Mason fuck family.
That's funny. And he's also, this is funny because I'm kind of like obsessed with Albert Pune now, and he's the guy who directed Cyborg and fucking all these awful movies like Doll Man.
Doll Man is on the list.
Yeah, I know. And so William Catt is also in Cyborg 3. So I haven't watched the sequels yet.
I'm sorry,
but
there's a Cyborg.
There's 3. Okay, so the second one has Angelina Jolie in it.
Oh,
she was so hot when she was young. Remember that movie?
Gia.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so there are 3 Cyborg movies, and I do need to watch the sequels, but Albert Pune, I'm not sure how you say his name, I'm like kind of on a kick watching all of his movies, because he's like notorious for making terrible like 90s action and 90s like sci-fi
What's he got
movies.
going on? What's he got
like
going on?
Nemesis is one that I have to watch, and he did the 1990 Captain America, and I have it on VHS, and it looks awful. I haven't watched it yet. But anyway, Cyborg 3 also has Zach Galligan from Gremlins in it too.
Yeah.
So I definitely need to watch that.
That's another curly-haired cute man.
Yeah, I know. He's
Yeah.
adorable, actually.
Oh,
I think he's
gosh.
very, very cute. William Catt is also in the 95 remake of Piranha, which I actually did
cool.
not know that it was remade twice, because it was the other one that Eli Roth was in, was the one that came out like recently, right? Yeah.
He was in Piranha.
Yeah, remember he gets his face like torn off from the propeller?
That's him?
Yeah, he's like the DJ or some shit.
Oh, he's the DJ on the raft. Okay.
William Catt is in the 90s remake of Piranha and is also Mila Kunis's first movie. She's like a kid in it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. He was in Walker, Texas Ranger.
No,
Everybody
Of course,
is.
every single person that
I
has
know.
ever been
Or
in any of these
Seinfeld.
movies is that.
And this blew my mind because I have seen Jawbreaker more times than I can count, and he's Liz's dad in Jawbreaker. So you only see him probably for like 5 minutes in the movie, but I fucking saw that shit in theaters, and I have it, and I watch it probably once a year. And
It's another
like,
movie I won't do.
I
Nope.
love that. Well, really, why?
Because it's fucking scary.
Jawbreaker?
Yes.
Are we talking about the...
Yes, because you can kill someone. What does that happen to you?
Because you're blowing my mind.
That's real life.
Dude, that shit is like, that's like the girliest
That's mean.
like movie ever.
That's mean what they did.
Well, yeah,
It is
they're
pretty
mean
fucked up.
girls.
Okay, well thank you, Morgan.
What's up?
But anyways, so this is interesting. You know the show House. I've never seen it, but he's in an episode of House.
Is he?
Ah,
With Hugh Laurie?
yes.
It's in a show.
And
It's a great show.
he, for 3 seasons, was the lead in a TV show in 1981 to 83 called The Greatest American Hero.
Yes.
And I looked up pictures and videos, and it looks fabulous. And it's basically a show where he plays a teacher who is visited by aliens and they give him a superhero suit and tell him he now has special powers, but he hates wearing the suit and he lost the instructions manual. So he has to learn his powers as he goes along with it.
That would be kind
And
of fun.
in real life, like William Catt like wrote a comic book based on the show.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was like a big show when at the time
Apparently,
that it came
that's
out.
like one of his like best known roles.
Yeah, I know, and his hair is fabulous in it. Let me
Now,
tell
also,
ya.
let's just talk about the sweater for
Okay,
a second.
I was gonna say, like, we are obsessed with Jerry Danders' sweater in Fright Night, and when I was looking up pictures to post on her Instagram, it all came back to me, and I was like, I remember that sweater.
Oh, the
sweater
is...
that Roger Cobb is wearing in this movie.
It's so deep. It's like the deepest V. Like, it's
I
literally
know.
almost to his belly button. That shit is absurd.
What is that Instagram that's like movie sweaters?
It's movie sweaters.
There's an Instagram that's just movie sweaters, and that fucking sweater needs to be posted on
If it
that
hasn't
page.
been already, it
I know.
definitely needs to.
Look at that V. It goes down to like the bottom of his rib cage. It's absurd.
It's too much. Could you imagine the tan line he would get from that shit?
Yeah.
And he's just talking to fucking
George Wendt.
Wendt all normal, like, this guy's not looking at my pecs at all.
Yeah.
I have so much to say about him, but I'm gonna come back to. I found that movie where I was saying, do you remember that movie where they have little dinosaur eggs? Carnosaur. This one.
Oh,
That is like
I
the
remember
shitty
that
Jurassic
movie.
Park.
Yeah.
It's a shitty Jurassic
Yeah.
Park.
That's like after
Yeah.
Jurassic Park came out, like a string of terrible.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Rubber dinosaur movies.
Okay, fuck.
Rubber
basically.
dinosaur movies.
Yeah.
Definitely the worst one is the one with Whoopi Goldberg, and she's friends with a fucking T-Rex.
Oh, that was before.
Isn't
that
that
was
cute?
that was before Jurassic Park.
I just looked up 90s dinosaur. No!
Theodore Rex.
Oh, from Dinosaurs? Is that the brother from Dinosaurs?
No, it
Because
might
he looks
be.
a lot like
Oh,
Dinosaurs. Look at him!
That's funny.
Doesn't it
Oh
look
my
like him?
God, yeah.
No, but the brother
Goldberg
from Dinosaurs
had
had
like a weird
mohawk.
head thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that funny that movie was even made? Like Whoopi Goldberg, hey, I'm friends with the T-Rex.
I wanna see if
That
there's a
seems like a
tagline.
great idea.
I want to see if there's a
Can't believe this
tagline
guy's
for it.
sweater.
I know, his sweater is just,
Oh.
it's absurd.
It's so wonderful.
It's so low.
He needs
so
a turtleneck for
low.
underneath it, but he just doesn't care. He's so California.
I know. And
Look
I
at
like
that
that it's
sweater.
also tucked into his pants.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
it is.
it is.
Into his
Oh
pleated
my.
motherfucking
Someone should be
pants.
Roger Cobb for Halloween next year.
Oh my god.
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
I'll take
give
it
a
one for
fuck.
the team.
I'll do it.
If you can find that sweater, fucking A.
Oh man, that would be amazing actually to find that. So now he's sitting down trying to write and he's having a flashback
Vietnam flashbacks.
to the war. And so earlier, actually, William Catt also released an album.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did. Under the name Billy Catt, and it's called Secret Smiles.
Oh god.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Is it like jazz flute?
I think it's
like.
I think it's poppy jazz because I read a review that said that there is saxophone in
Well,
it.
of course, it's the 80s.
Yeah.
There's gotta be.
Secret
Yeah.
Smiles?
Yes.
Like, what?
I know, it doesn't make sense.
Oh,
It doesn't make
man.
sense.
I know.
We're all very
That's
confused.
fucking kind of sad.
Yeah. It's like I'm smiling at you, but it's secret. I don't want you to know.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
So this scene is actually kind of interesting because a lot of movies in the 80s, it started, I guess, allow the idea of PTSD to sort of come into the public psyche. Like, a lot of Vietnam vets were obviously suffering from it, but in the 80s especially, there was a lot of war movies, a lot of Vietnam movies that kind of reflected on that because it actually was recognized by the American Psychiatric Association as a disorder with like nightmares, flashbacks, and that sort of thing. So it increased awareness and stuff like that. There was a lot of suicides and stuff like that, and it just sort of helped to allow people to talk about it a bit more, and that's even reflected sort of in movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we saw George Wendt. Let's talk about George Wendt.
Who's been in everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I only actually put 2 lines because I'm like, I hope you guys wrote all the things down that he's been in because
Oh yeah.
everybody knows him from Cheers, obviously.
Everyone knows her from Cheers.
Second City, The Simpsons, Family Guy, Seinfeld, Frasier, Becker, Saturday Night Live. Whose line is it anyway? Like, literally, the man's
I
been
know.
in fucking everything. He reminds me of
Oh, Jeff Garlin. Yeah, definitely. He was also in Twilight Zone episodes, the one from the 80s, Tales from the Crypt. This is interesting. He's in the Ray Parker Jr. video for Ghostbusters.
Is he?
Yes, and he's also in the Michael Jackson video for Black or White. He plays
Oh, I
Macaulay
remember that.
Culkin's dad.
I
actually totally forgot that John Landis directed that video.
That's crazy.
John Landis.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so he also had his own TV show, and it was just called The George Wendt Show. It was only one season, and it was about two brothers that own a garage, and they hosted their own radio show in the garage. And he's also in this other movie that I just recently discovered that I need to watch, and it's called Space Truckers. And I showed it to Morgan the other day, and I've never fucking heard of this movie, and I was like, why? Why haven't I heard of this movie? It's directed by Stuart Gordon. It has Dennis Hopper, Stephen Dorff, Charles Dance, who is Tywin Lannister, and The Devil and the Golden Child, which is like one of my favorite 80s like adventure movies, and Tim Lone, who is one of the White Walkers on Game of Thrones.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I definitely want to watch it. There's lots of like futuristic looking robots and shit, but it's like people in suits.
Crazy.
And but I also want to mention the Seinfeld episode that George Wendt is in, because I love that we always make a Seinfeld reference in like every fucking episode. And it's the one where like George and Jerry like went to LA to find Kramer, and like they go on the Tonight Show, and George is like talking to George Wendt, and then like he talks about how he like met this crazy fat bald guy outside of the studio. You never know who you're gonna meet, and like blah blah blah. But yeah, so he also does a lot of Comic-Cons, and he went to the Niagara Falls Comic-Con last year, and you can actually buy a special event ticket to have beers with him.
What?
Yeah, and
yes.
like a setup like Cheers bar.
That is fucking
I know. And this is an interesting fact. He's Jason Sudeikis' uncle.
Yeah, Jason Sudeikis' mother is George Wendt's sister.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Let me see
That
here.
guy.
Oh, like the Ryan Reynolds looking fucking guy.
Yeah, like
No,
the
like,
like,
he's funny.
The poor man's
he's
Ryan
hilarious.
Reynolds, though.
Wait, so you're trying to tell me that this guy is his uncle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's George Wendt is his uncle.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
I mean,
I do love him. I think
that's
he's
the
hilarious.
thing, though, right? Like, it seems like every movie, there's been like, and then their mom and dad, and their brother and sister, and
Well,
like,
you know,
when you're in the industry, you're in the industry.
There is a lot of nepotism in Hollywood. You do have to understand
It's
that
who you
that's
know,
just-
right?
Yeah, exactly. Who you know,
Yeah.
and like, you know, if you're related to somebody, it's just only gonna help you.
Yeah, for sure.
More.
Yeah, definitely.
I sound like a fart.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, I think Harry Manfredini did the score.
He
Yes,
did actually,
for
and we
Olive
know
Guy.
him because of our Slaughter High episode.
Oh, and all the Friday 13th movies.
Well, yes, that too, but like we've
Yeah.
talked about him because we did that episode before.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's done tons and tons of stuff. Friday the 13th, Part 2, Swamp Thing. Friday the 13th, Part 3. The Final Chapter, The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah,
The
he's
Beginning.
definitely he's done a lot of scores.
Slaughter High, which of course we did an episode on. The Second House, which I don't know, whatever. Jason Lives. Deep Star 6, which is a movie.
That's a great movie.
I've never seen it, but it's
Sean
on,
S.
I need
Cunningham.
to see it.
Yeah, it's really good.
So that's another connection there. House 4, which I don't even know.
Yeah, as you said, you were going to try and give the
you want me to get
sequels.
into it now?
No bueno, eh?
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get into the
Yeah, you
sequels.
are.
Okay, yeah, so there are sequels. That's a thing.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get into the sequels right
Okay.
now. I had never seen part 3 and 4, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna try to watch them before we record this episode. I didn't get to part 4, but I have House 2 on VHS, and it's kind of like I blocked it out of my brain, and I was like, well, maybe I'll watch it again. Jesus fucking
I could
Christ.
never block that
I
fucking stupid
can't.
cowboy and his stupid
the
worm
second
dog.
one.
Oh my god!
Out of my
it's
brain.
a kids
It's garbage.
movie. It's a kids movie. It's not.
Maybe
a horror
that's why I
movie.
like it, because I saw it when I was a kid. So I
Yeah, no, I
associate it.
didn't,
I
yeah.
heavily associate it with fun
Yeah,
times.
it's like PG. It's just a fucking kids movie, and it came out in '87, so the year after the first one.
didn't take a
And
big break at all.
it has a 5.4 on IMDb, and it has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
that.
It's so bad. I'm sorry, Megan. Like, it's terrible. Like, I couldn't even finish it because I was like, I can't even watch this. Like, I feel uncomfortable watching it because I was just like, it's like. it's like how I said, it's basically a kids movie. The actors in it are Lar Park Lincoln, who plays Tina in Friday the 13th Part 7, and Bill Maher is in it.
Bill Maher?
Yeah,
What?
Bill Maher. Sorry.
Are you serious?
He's in it. He plays because Lar Park Lincoln.
Bill Maher is
like
in that movie.
Yeah, she's like a music chief or something like that, like for a record label, and he's her boss. And
does he have a large part, or is it smaller?
Yeah, no, it's a big part.
Oh my God.
Like he's in the house like most of the time. It's like so random.
Me?
I know. I don't know why Bill Maher decided to do this movie. Like,
I don't know either. Like, honestly,
it's really weird.
I watched Bill Maher's show like literally.
Oh, when I was a kid,
he makes me watch it every fucking day.
It used to be on at midnight, like, or 11, like every Friday night, and I used to always watch Politically Incorrect. And then when I forgot that he was in House 2, and I started watching it, and I was like, why is Bill Maher in
wow.
this? This is weird.
Okay, now I need to revisit House 2.
Oh no,
I need to make Ben watch it just so he can see where Bill Maher came from.
Yeah, like he doesn't do
artist.
anything like cheesy in the movie, but he's basically Lar Park Lincoln's boss, and they're trying to like they're scouting for talent, and there's another couple that are staying in the house, and another Cheers actor, John Ratzenberger, is in part 2, and Shauna Cunningham also produced it, and Harry Manfredini also did the score as well, and Kane Hodder does the stunts for all of the House movies, and so he reunited with Lar Park Lincoln, like, because they were in the New Blood together. And this is fucking wild. Ralph Macchio wrote a comic book based on the movie, and it was released by Marvel.
What?
I don't know why.
You know what, though? I feel like it would translate better in comic. I feel
absolutely.
Way better.
Yeah, maybe that's why he did it. But it's like,
it would
but
be
Ralph Macchio.
I know! Like, the Karate Kid was like,
I'm gonna write this comic.
what the fuck? So
How'd it do?
random.
You got
I don't
the
know.
stats?
I have no idea.
Because I see it as being like a very almost like Tales from the Crypt comic, right? Like a funny, because they're always funny and silly and gory.
Yeah.
However, like,
There's like
no
a weird
gore
twist
in
at
that
the end,
movie,
but
though.
it doesn't translate. I see what
you
you're
know what
saying,
I mean?
though.
Yeah.
Like
I
sometimes
see what you're
that
saying,
shit, because even watching some of those episodes, right, when you're watching
Yeah.
Tales from the Crypt episodes, you're like, that was a bad episode. However, if you were reading it in a comic, I don't know, maybe.
Even like
Maybe.
But even the story, like, I didn't fucking care for it, because it was like, it has nothing to do with the first one, and it's like this grandpa that they dig up, and he's like this fucking prospector. Yeah, he's like this prospector, and it's Halloween, and they have a Halloween party, so he decides to like come out of hiding from the basement and party with people because it's Halloween, so people don't notice that
And
he's
they
like
don't
dead
smell
and
it?
decaying and shit. Yeah, and it's like that fucking little caterpillar dog.
That thing is so weird.
That thing is so annoying.
It reminds me of the singing mushroom in
from
Troll.
Troll.
It has
Yeah.
the same fucking face.
Yeah, I just like
What the
I
fuck?
hate it. I hate it. I was like watching it, and I was by myself, and I felt weird watching it. Like I was just like, I can't even do this. I can't. I
do like the name though, like House to the second
second story. The
Like,
second story.
play on words because it's a house.
Well, that's like,
It's
isn't the
second
Sharknado
story.
sequels like that too? Like the second one is called The Second One.
Oh my god.
Some shit like that.
Well,
so
that's like on my list of like funny movies is Feast, and Feast 2 is Sloppy Seconds.
Oh,
which is
that's
like hilarious.
Good. That's good. I do
It's
enjoy
good.
that.
I like
yeah. But the house in the first one is an estate in California. But the house in part 2 is the same house that they used in 13 Ghosts. The one with
Fucking
Matthew
shit,
Lillard.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
so
that is a good
fucking
movie.
Much.
That's a good one.
You want to talk about good 90s horror?
Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, so House 3. Here we go.
Do it.
I tried to watch it. It's a completely different movie. It has actually nothing to do with the series whatsoever. It was actually originally called The Horror Show, but because of new distributors, they decided to make it House 3, I guess, like, to just make it part of the series, even though it had nothing to do with the first two whatsoever. So that one came out in 89, and it has a 4.9 on IMDb and also has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I actually didn't mind watching it Lance Henriksen is in it. He's
Oh,
the
yeah.
main guy.
Love him.
Brian
Love
James, who is like the first replicant in Blade Runner that
Yep.
gets killed. Like he's got a very creepy face.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
get
Very
this, Brian James actually stated that out of all the roles that he had in his career, his favorite one was the one in House 3.
Sick.
It's like, motherfucker, you were in Blade Runner. Like, one of the best movies ever made. Like, are you serious?
Wow.
I don't know, maybe there was a lot of, like, the working conditions on Blade Runner were, like, very
Who knows?
stressful. Who
Maybe,
knows?
yeah.
But I was like, wow.
Wow.
It's like, I don't know, Lance Henriksen is a cop, and Brian James is a convicted felon, and he gets electrocuted and killed, and his ghost comes back to haunt Lance Henriksen and his family. And it's like, so around the same time, Shocker, Prison,
Yeah, it's almost
Yeah.
exactly
and
the
like
same, the same
Destroyer,
thing as Shocker,
like all
yeah.
those like electrocution, ghost, the haunting movies like came out around the same time, and like it actually had the original director on the movie was David Blythe, and he was fired halfway through. I don't know why. I kind of want to know why. And he was replaced with James Isaac, who also directed Jason X and did the special effects for Gremlins and House 2. So that's
cool, man.
interesting. But yeah, it
Yeah.
has like nothing to do at all with the series whatsoever. It's a completely different movie.
It's really killing me right now because I feel like an episode, not like a more recent episode, we were talking about sequels where we're like, why'd they put that name on it? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about it before
It's
where there
for-
have been sequels where
It's
we're like,
honestly
it has
for
nothing to do
marketing.
with it.
It's like for marketing, and the distributors like think they make good ideas, but it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
No,
I actually
like,
I have a crazy amount of stuff about that afterwards, but we'll get to House 4 and then I'm gonna get into some
okay,
crazy
so
shit
I'm
about that.
sorry, did not get to watching House 4. I will still watch it though,
The
just cause.
Repossession.
But yeah, it's called The
funny.
Repossession. Well, because it was actually supposed to be called House 3, because it was supposed to be the one after part 2, but then because when the distributors changed the horror show to House 3, they were forced to call it House 4.
Right.
So this one, actually, I do want to watch it because I do love bad 90s movies, and this one came out in 92. And this one has a score of 3.6 on IMDb, no score on Rotten Tomatoes, but William Catt comes back to play Roger Cobb.
Isn't that weird?
In part 4. So that's why I actually really do want to watch it still. And this is interesting. The inside of the House 4 is also the same house that they use for People Under the Stairs.
Oh,
That's a sweet house.
And I need to
Yeah.
rewatch that movie because I actually barely remember it. And,
It's a creepy movie.
Yeah, and it's the only movie in the series that has a tie to the first one.
Because of Roger Cobb and
Because
the character
and
from
like
that,
yeah,
yeah.
because it's more of a sequel to part 1, and it's actually the only one in the entire series that has blood in it.
Oh, shit.
interesting.
Yeah, I just wish that part 2 was never made. And part 3 is just like a different movie to me, and it's a good one. And then just like part 4, I do need to watch it now. I am
Yeah.
like,
well, yeah, because it kind of
set on
ties
watching
it
it.
back together, and it should maybe have been the second one.
Yeah.
But in going back to the idea and the topic of companies and industry just sort of like renaming stuff and all that. So a while back, I actually came upon a bloody disgusting article that was about unofficial Italian sequels and how the horror industry there just kind of slaps a name on a movie and it's considered a sequel. The article's mainly about Evil Dead, which is called La Casa in Italian, but there's actually a few House unofficial sequels that are sort of tied up in that same mix.
Oh.
So I wanted to bring that up.
Okay.
So of the Evil Dead ones is Ghost House, which...
that sounds familiar.
Yes.
I think I've seen the cover
yeah,
or something.
A lot of these are familiar. So Ghost House from 1988, which is AKA La Casa 3, House 3, and also Evil Dead 3.
Actually, sorry, I was thinking Ghost Story.
No, yeah.
That's another kind of kids like movie.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So Ghost House, I don't know, it kind of looked familiar to me. So
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt again.
What?
I was wrong. It's Ghost Chase.
Ghost
Chase.
Ghost Chase
Ghost
is
Story
one of, like
was
this
good.
little old, weird-looking grandpa ghost that comes out of a grandfather clock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it a cartoon or a movie?
No, it's a movie.
Is
It's
it like Ghost
yeah.
Dad? With
with
Bill
Bill
Cosby?
Cosby. No, it's actually better.
Okay, good, because that movie is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Alright, so... Ghost House is Evil Dead
my
3.
God.
Witchery in 1988 with David Hasselhoff and Linda Blair
Yes, I've seen that. It's okay.
is La Casa 4, Evil Dead 4, which is also called Witchcraft, which is also called Evil Encounters.
Dear God.
Beyond Darkness from 1990 is La Casa 5, Evil Dead 5, also House 5. and Horror House.
Brace yourselves.
Okay,
Oh
so
my gosh.
as you might have noticed, one of Beyond Darkness's AKAs was House 5. This is where things get really confusing. The sequel to Sean Cunningham's schlocky haunted house horror film House was released in Italy, but because the La Casa series did so well, producers figured why not just slap the and 6 on it and then released it as another unrelated sequel. So then when House 3, the horror show, came out, they released it as La Casa 7.
Whoa.
Technically, if you want unofficial sequels, in Italy, there's also House 5, House 6, and House 7.
Interesting.
Oh my god.
And they have nothing to do with them. Like Witchery, the one with David Hasselhoff and fucking Linda Blair.
Yeah.
That shit looks ridiculous.
We watched it, I think,
Yeah.
together. Because, I remember watching it under the different title. Well, this is actually kind of interesting thing about House. We haven't seen her yet, but the female lady, Sandy, in it is actually like Glenn Close and Sigourney Weaver were considered for that role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably only considered by the people making it and not considered by them because at this point, their careers were like,
Banging.
Bye,
Banging.
fuck you. Yeah, so they probably considered them in their minds, but those women were probably like, no, I'm sorry, I can't lower myself to these standards.
Well, do you guys remember or have ever seen this online? But there is like a crazy, really cool VHS, like very limited release of this movie. And the VHS like box is in the shape of the house.
What?
Oh, no.
It's
I
like
remember
one
that.
of those like VHS gems out there in the world. Yeah, it has battery operated lights and it's really rare. Like it goes for like $500 US on eBay.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's no Tales from the Quad Dead Zone.
No.
Like that movie is worth like $700. Like it's insane.
I really hope that someone out there listening is like, I have that movie.
Yeah, and
Tales
they
from the
realized,
Quad Dead Zone.
Either one, or like this
Oh, fuck.
limited
Yeah, I
edition.
know.
Like, yeah, fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's
People
really
don't know
rare.
that they're sitting on gold mines a lot of the time.
Oh fuck, I know.
I always loved the VHS packaging when they did that. Like they did
Yeah,
like the light
the
up
big box.
eyes, the dead pit one.
Yeah,
that,
and
I have a copy of
Frankenhooker.
that.
There's the Frankenhooker one where you push the button and she talks.
Oh, that's cool.
That's fucking
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. There's a bunch of really cool
I always
VHS
really liked that.
things like that. Yeah, same here. So this is the woman in the movie Sandy. Her real name is Kay Lenz. Oh, and then she turns into like the fat monster lady with the giant
She's
droopy boobs.
pretty sexy.
I know. I fucking love this character. But yeah, that woman, Kay Lenz, used to be married to David Cassidy.
Oh.
Of course.
I was like, whoa,
Look at her. She's
that's
like
neat.
Perfect, like Hollywood
Farrah
blonde.
Fawcett
She
hair.
does have the Farrah Fawcett look to her.
Yeah.
like almost identical.
Yeah. And she was also in a House episode, like that TV show House.
Yeah.
She's also in American Graffiti, which I sadly have never seen. Have you guys seen American Graffiti?
I think I have.
What year is it?
It's 70s.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
is
like
it?
it takes place
Oh.
in the 50s. It was like a huge deal. I've never seen it, but I've heard good things about it. Well, she had her like big breakout role in a movie called Breezy, and she's the main character, and it's like a romantic movie, and it's directed by Clint Eastwood.
Oh,
That's
he's
cool.
such a good director.
Yeah,
Oh my
and she
God.
was also in a Rod Stewart video.
Yeah,
Obviously.
She's so hot. Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Well, now she's dead. I like the noises that she makes.
Just like that. Just like that.
That's funny.
We actually haven't talked about Richard Moll lately.
Yeah, I know. Big lately.
Ever.
Well, we've
More like
mentioned
ever.
him. We've mentioned him. So yeah, Richard Moll. He plays Big Ben. I love that character so much. I love the makeup that they did on him.
when he comes through the front door,
Yeah.
and he's like, it is the most terrifying scene and probably the most indelible, I think, in my mind as a child.
Yeah.
Like that shit, all the other stuff was kind of like silly. That shit was
Yeah,
fucking
like the
scary to
fucking
me.
the fish, the singing fish
Yeah.
that's like flapping on the wall.
Yeah.
I'd shoot that.
That shit
I'd
was fucking
shoot that.
scary though. When he's like,
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Well, obviously everybody knows him as Bull from Night Court.
Yep.
And he's fucking 6'8".
that's absurd.
That's tall.
That's
too
too
much.
tall.
Nope, that's too tall.
Same height as Pete Steele.
I was gonna say that's Pete Steele. Tall.
Yeah. Yeah, Pete Steele was 6'8".
Yeah. Megan is just like, ugh.
I've just
Thinking about the Playgirl
I've
picture.
just seen I don't know why he's just been like flooding my Instagram search.
Probably
You know what?
because of us.
He's been flooding our thoughts lately too.
God.
Like
Yeah,
we listen to Typo Negative a lot, and like recently on our trips to Toronto, and like just I've been searching him. I was looking up the fucking Playgirl shoot. Like I need to see that dick again.
When you
Yeah.
guys were listening to Typo, I was listening to like God fucking knows what, like I don't know, any example, any fucking, what's that girl
Backstreet
band?
Boys.
What's that girl band? Destiny's Child. Like, and for some reason, so I don't have that nostalgia. Like, I didn't know him when he was alive.
Yeah.
I knew him after he passed away, but like I can't
Oh
stop
man, I fucking
thinking
love
of it.
Typo
Yeah.
Negative, man. I
You know
was
what? It's
obsessed
weird.
with
My
them.
taste in men has changed a lot. He now fits into my taste of men.
He's
now,
not.
right?
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like
I
when
don't find him
was
attractive
younger,
whatsoever.
I don't know.
Ugh.
I don't think. Like I look at him and I don't think. I don't know. There's something about him though that, like, he's sexy. There's something about him that's sexy, and I never used to think that.
He's like Frankenstein with long hair.
Yeah, but just to look at his face, you'd be like, nah, that's not like a good-looking guy.
No,
But
it's the
because of
confidence.
everything about him,
That's
there's
it.
something super sexy about it, and I totally agree with that.
And
Like,
who
it's
doesn't
a
love a
little
man with
different.
long hair, though?
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a man with long
Like,
hair?
could you imagine, like, a fucking guy that's, like, 7 feet tall just, like, picking you up?
No!
Like,
Stop it!
Fuck off!
Yeah, I never found him sexy at all.
You
I
know
find
what?
him
You know,
I
disgusting.
didn't either until recently, and I
That's
was
what
like,
I'm saying.
oh my god. Like,
It's the confidence and the
believe
fact that
something-
he didn't give a shit.
And we didn't get to, like Robert Plant is my sex god. However, Google Robert Plant now. A barf.
Oh, yeah, he
right?
looks
So
terrible.
he never morphed into an old nasty man. He died when he was
No.
hot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's got that Jim Morrison thing, even though Jim Morrison was nasty when he died. But he's got that whole, like, I died
Totally.
before I fucking
before he
flopped.
became ancient, yeah. I actually never met Pete Steele.
But you saw his head.
I saw, okay.
Ooh,
Not his dickhead.
Oh.
I wish. No, my story is pretty, like, innocuous. It was like, I was on Ozfest, and it was in the New Jersey show, and I was sitting in the back lounge of a bus, and you know, if you've been near a tour bus or near bands, you know that tour buses are very fucking tall. Like,
Yeah, they're huge.
yeah, the back window was open, and it was just like, I was just chilling in the back lounge, and all of a sudden, this, like, fucking thing whizzes by the fucking window, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And I stick my head out, and Peter Steele is walking down in between the buses, and it's like, he's so tall that his head went by the fucking window of a tour bus, and I was like, holy shit!
when are they going
That's
to
fucking
make
crazy.
a Pete Steele statue in Brooklyn?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what the world needs. Is a
Yeah.
Pete. There's a Freddie Mercury statue.
There's a Bon Scott
there
statue.
should be. There's a fucking Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy.
There's a Selena statue in Corpus Christi.
There needs to be
Selena.
a Pete Steele statue in Brooklyn. There needs
Agreed.
to be. Yeah.
Agreed. It's done.
Yep, and
It's been
it
decided.
needs to be to scale.
Yeah.
And they need to fucking, like, in his, like, tight jeans, they need to fucking, like, have that fucking eggplant just coming down
I was
his
gonna
leg.
Yeah,
say
I
there's
know.
gotta be something to do with his dick there. Though.
Immortalized in bronze.
Yeah,
You know who else was
that's right.
hot? And we're like super digressing from this film right now.
That's fine. We're
What
talking
is the
about shit.
name of the lead singer for Skid Row?
Sebastian
Sebastian
Bach.
Bach. Yeah, he used to be. Not anymore. That even like when he was in Gilmore Girls. Yeah, Sebastian Bach was in fucking Gilmore Girls, man. Hilarious. Oh, she's
Google.
looking it up. She's looking it up.
Google.
Yeah.
Google that shit.
No, but Sebastian Bach was definitely like in his prime. Oh my god, he was really fucking hot back then.
As if he was in the
yeah,
G-Girls.
Yeah, he's like a main character in Gilmore Girls.
No,
he's
I
in the
refuse.
band, like with yes, I've
Ew,
seen
he's
Gilmore Girls.
nasty.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you know what?
he's
Like,
gross
he was
now.
fucking, he was beautiful. Like, look at that.
Yeah, I know.
Guys.
He was pretty
I
hot
know,
back
but
then.
look at him. He was so
No,
beautiful.
he was gorgeous. He was
he was beautiful.
Yeah.
he looks like he looks like a female witch. He literally looks like
Yeah.
he stirs a cauldron.
That's amazing.
Gross.
Well, earlier, we saw an X-Files actor, Stephen Williams, who plays like Mr. X or whatever
Yeah.
on X-Files, plays the cop in House that I did not know. I always see him all the time, and I'm just like, I just
Yeah,
immediately
I recognize
fucking
that
think
guy,
of
but
X-Files.
who is that guy?
Yeah, X-Files. Let's go back to Richard Moll.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We started talking about
Pete Steele.
I know,
because we're the same height.
Yeah,
So rest in peace, Pete Steele. We fucking love you. And our friend actually has the Playgirl, which is incredible. Dana, our friend Dana, has it.
Would.
And so yeah, Richard Moll, because he has a very distinguished voice. He's also a voice actor. Does a lot of voice acting. He's in one of my favorite 80s horror movies, Evil Speak.
Yes, I was gonna say.
I love that movie
That's
with
the
Clint
one.
Howard, where like Satan like gets conjured up through the computer, and he's also in not most, but a lot of my favorite 80s horror movies. One is The Dungeon Master.
Yes.
And me and Morgan watched that movie, and I enjoy it. And Night Train to Terror. I
that's a
fucking
good
love
one.
that movie. I've been trying to like schedule that movie for a podcast episode because it's fucking fantastic. And he's also in an episode of that show that I'm like dying to find called Monsters. I believe we talked about it in the last episode. It's that anthology show that's like
Right.
Tales from the Crypt, but it's all creatures. Like it's
Love
all
that.
monsters.
That's cool.
And he's also in a terrible Chuck Norris movie, Sidekicks.
Yeah.
And I have seen that many times because I had the biggest crush on Jonathan Brandis.
Okay, I gotta
growing up.
say, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure we mention sidekicks like every episode.
Really?
Jonathan
talking about?
Brandis comes up more often than Rob Lowe.
Oh, weird.
Which actually,
Can we change that?
yeah. Okay, where does Rob Lowe fit into any of this?
I know.
Let's like figure it
We
out.
have to start at 6 degrees of separation for Rob Lowe.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Yeah,
Rob
for
Lowe,
sure.
no, I think he's our fucking podcast boyfriend now.
Yeah, well, because it used to be George Kennedy and Drew Gulager.
And then it was your boyfriend,
Which one?
the dearly departed. Are you
Who, Bill Paxton?
Bill Paxton
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a big thing for a while.
Yeah, now we're on the Rob Lowe train.
Yeah,
Let's just
but
do
Rob
it.
Lowe is just
Let's do
fucking
it.
beautiful.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, and
He's a
the other
gorgeous, gorgeous
day,
man.
when we recorded, you were talking about the Robert Downey Jr. and Rob Lowe like photo together, and I made it my mission one morning for like an entire hour to peruse Instagram trying to find this fucking photo. I couldn't find it.
No,
Oh.
you couldn't find them together.
No.
Oh, girl, I should have.
Because I'm like
Screen cap
picturing
that
some
shit.
like sweaty, sexy shit.
No, they
Yeah.
weren't sweaty. No,
What were they doing
They
then?
were just sitting together with their fucking blazers on.
Dry bullshit.
With their blazers, with their V-cut fucking low
Yeah.
cardigan sweater.
That's
things.
funny. Well,
Well,
back to Richard Moll.
This episode is fucking amazing.
I know. So Richard Moll was also in Jingle All the Way with Arnold. Those are my cookies. And he's also in Scary Movie 2. He's
Okay.
like
Yep.
the ghost in Scary Movie 2.
Yeah.
oh, scary movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And that's all I have on him.
He's actually in The Sword and Sorcerer as well, which is the
really?
movie that we were like, we
Oh,
need to
yeah.
watch that. It's like
The cover
super
is
80s, like
fantastic.
barbarian ass fucking
Yeah.
movie, like fantasy shit. He's in that movie as well. That's 1982.
Albert Pune. He fucking directed The Sword and the Sorcerer.
Yeah, well then there you go, and fucking Richard Moll is
I'm
in
gonna
that
make
too.
it like, yeah, I have an Excel spreadsheet on my MacBook that's like all Nick Cage's movies, and I think I have to start a new one that's all Albert Pune movies.
Oh my god.
I need
Well,
to
see,
watch
here's the
all
thing,
of
though,
them.
About Albert Pune is that we're gonna get to a point where the movies that are so bad that you actually can't find them fucking online at all. It's like it
Yeah,
only
they're that
exists
bad, I
in
have
like
to-
a ratty ass VHS copy. Like we were already trying to find Mandroid and Dollman.
Yeah,
Like just to stream it. It's not even on YouTube.
yeah.
So you have to like go and fucking buy it.
I
Luckily-
bought them on
Yeah.
Amazon today. They'll be in my house
Yes, today. And she primed
Yeah.
She primed that shit so it was coming by Friday.
Yeah, I was like, I need.
She primed it up.
I was like,
yeah.
I need Dollman in my life, so I fucking bought it today on Amazon, and I was like, Prime 2 days. That's right.
Oh my god. What, like so ridiculous.
I'm so excited to fucking watch it.
But it's gonna get really bad. Like eventually, we're gonna run out of great movies, and then
Oh,
we're just
man.
gonna have to.
C'est impossible.
I know, it's true. Because all the bad is great to us.
And
Yeah.
all the good is good too.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
Yeah. Richard Moll was actually nominated for a Saturn Award for this fucking movie
Oh.
in 1987, as well as Kay Lenz.
You don't hear about them
Um,
Saturns anymore, do you?
I don't know. Do they do that anymore? Apparently, also, director Steve Miner won a Critics' Choice Award for this film and
Oh,
was
yeah, I
nominated
saw
for
that.
an International Fantasy Film Award, which is probably some fucking German thing. That just sounds like something the Germans would do.
The Saturn Awards are still happening. It's like
it's
a
sci-fi and
sci-fi award.
fantasy, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. So they were nominated. I don't know who they lost to that year in 1987.
Probably something real great.
Well,
there's a lot of real great stuff.
What
going on?
What was great in sci-fi and horror in 1987?
Okay, do you know what that
probably a
reminded
lot.
me of? Does anyone out
Let's
there?
see. Who won? Let's click. Let's see. RoboCop.
Obviously.
Best Science Fiction, Princess Bride.
Obviously.
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys. was
Obviously.
best
These
one.
are all
Near
obvious.
Dark was nominated.
These are all obvious.
Yeah.
What's the one?
Kirk Cameron.
What's the one at the bottom? Pumpkinhead. I can't see.
The Running Man. We have Jessica Tandy for Batteries Not Included as
I
Best
remember that
Actress.
movie.
Jack Nicholson for The Witches of Eastwick.
Oh, that's a good one.
Kirk Cameron.
He can fuck off.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
fuck
fuck
off.
that guy.
Oh, Bill Paxton as Severin actually got a Best Supporting. Well, he didn't fucking win, but he was nominated.
Yeah.
The Running Man.
Richard Dawson won.
I know, what the fuck? Bill
This is really
that
fun.
he
What else
should've
we got?
won.
Near Dark was very popular that year, right?
It was.
What's The Hidden?
I love The Hidden. Kyle MacLachlan. It's awesome. It's great. It's just about this like alien entity that's like this like it's not an entity, sorry. It's like this like parasite, and it's like a worm, and it enters like humans to like for having a host. And Kyle
like Body
MacLachlan is
Snatchers
like a
kinda thing?
special cop that deals with aliens, and he has this like special gun. It's
So
awesome.
Body Snatchers and X-Files
Yeah.
like all come into one.
It's
Okay,
actually
okay.
awesome. I fucking love The Hidden. I just
right,
watched
cool.
it again recently. There's a sequel, but it's not as good.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great one. Also, we're at the part in the house when the fat woman's hand
Like
just keeps like
reanimates.
I know, I love that. I love that hand.
Nope,
it's so
wouldn't
fat.
happen. I'll tell
And
you
like
that
how
right
it
now.
flushes down the toilet. Oh man, that would clog your toilet.
Oh,
Wouldn't
shit.
happen.
I tried to flush a plum once. That shit wouldn't go down. Like
Ah.
a fucking corpse hand would go down.
Why are you flushing plums?
I don't know, because my mom gave me a plum in my lunch,
didn't
and
want
I
to
was
tell
like,
her that
I
you
don't
didn't want to
fucking
eat
want
it.
that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
So I tried to
yeah.
flush it, and then it exploded.
Why didn't you just throw it in the
I
garbage?
don't know. Because I was like,
Well, that's why she
Get rid of the
beat you.
evidence.
that's why she beat you.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Well, Arrow released 2 different sets on Blu-ray. It's really weird. They released a box set that is just the first 2 in North America, and then they released one that's all 4 movies, but only in the UK.
That's
Like, I
weird.
don't know why it's not available here, but that's the one that I want, because like I actually do really want to watch part 4.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed part 3. I just fell asleep.
Part 4 is on YouTube, though. But I know that I understand the idea that you like want to actually like buy it, but maybe it's just licensing shit, or maybe it's just
Yeah. But sometimes it's like I like watching it on Blu-ray, like
Oh,
just
for sure.
for like the quality alone.
Yeah.
Well, there's
looks real
like a
sad.
very large team of special effects artists that worked on all the creatures
Oh,
in
yeah.
house. Like they actually worked on them for like 3.5 months or something. And like the
Unbelievable.
list of the special effects artists are just like absurd. Like there's so many people that worked on all the monsters and the creatures and stuff. P.S. That couch that he's sitting on.
I know,
is,
it's fucking ignorant.
gorgeous.
Oh my god, I'm
Amazing.
crying tears of blood right now.
Yeah.
Over that fucking couch. I think I read somewhere that the closet monster, like really giant one, was operated by like 15 different men.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, the war demon. It's apparently 18 feet and was operated by 15 different people.
Crazy.
Sweet.
There's like a short documentary about this movie, right?
Well, there was a short one that was, I think, a special features at one point. But Ding Dong, You're Dead, The Making of House.
I fucking love that
I know,
tagline.
right?
It's so good. It's
fucking
brilliant.
great.
I love it.
Oh my god.
The Making of came out in March of 2017. And it's a 66-minute documentary that takes a look at the making of House and Sean S. Cunningham, Steve Miner, Fred Decker, William Catt, George Wendt, and Kay Lenz, and Harry Manfredini, and Kane Hodder are all in it. And they all do
Nice.
interviews and talk about, you know, their experiences, as well as special effects crew people and everything like that. They're all interviewed. Apparently it does a great job at covering everything from the pre-production through the release of the film. There's some good stories, including like how the film ended up getting made. And the original idea is probably going back to Fred Decker and his original idea with the...
Yeah, how it's like supposed to be just a horror
yeah.
and like not a comedy at all.
Totally. Like casting stuff and shooting and then the release and whatnot. So I actually was trying to find it online and I couldn't. But IMDb does have the link for it, so it does exist. I'm not sure where you could get it.
Maybe if they finally release like the Blu-ray box set of all 4 movies in North America, that'd be cool if it was included.
Yeah, because like there's like a small making of that was like 12 minutes long that I found on YouTube. And that was just like a few older interviews and stuff, but this like seems like it's like an in-depth sort of look at it, so maybe it will be some reissue thing or something like that. But it said it came out in March of 2017, so it is out there. I'm not sure if there are like DVD copies or whatever, but I'm sure it would be really cool to find if you could. If you could get your
that'd be
hands on
awesome. So I remember watching this when I was younger, and the part where it's like those goblin creature guys that are like trying to like steal the kid from the fireplace, I used to always like think to myself, like, just let them take him.
Yeah.
Like, he's annoying anyways. Like, he fucking fucks shit up for him so badly that it's like he's such a nuisance. It's like, just fucking let the monsters eat him.
Yeah, and the kid's just laughing the whole fucking
Yeah.
time. He's like, hey, this is so funny.
Yeah,
You're
look
so
at him.
fucking hilarious. Fuck you.
Stupid ignorant fuck.
Fucking moron.
Yeah, he's just like, he's causing too much trouble for
Can you
Mr.
tell none of
Roger
us
Cobb.
have kids?
Yeah.
Look at this fucking kid. You gotta feed him and clean him up and shit. I'm a fucking asshole.
I know.
Dicks.
He's got a mullet. He's got a baby mullet.
Baby mullet.
That's a baby mullet.
Well, we are going to talk about horror comedies.
Oh,
And I think that we've only talked about horror comedies like once before.
I think so.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's like some updates in our list and everything. So I'm sure we have like some similar ones.
this is my bread and butter, man. Because horror
yeah, I
movies
know.
scare me. So
Yeah,
like this
you
is
like-
my list is fucking from here to
I
Timbuktu.
do enjoy the comedic ones as well. They're not my favorites, but there are a lot of really fucking good ones, and these are the ones that I'm going to mention. So when I think horror comedy, right off the bat, the immediate movie that I think of is Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness.
Yep. Mhm.
Like when it comes to horror comedy, like I think like they were the first ones that I ever saw.
Yeah.
And I know that there was like when you know like go back to the early days, like there's all the Albert and Costello, Mel Brooks like movies and stuff. But to me personally, like when we get more specific to like horror, like actual horror comedy, yeah, Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness stick out the most for me.
It's slapstick.
Army
Yeah.
of Darkness. I mean, people say like in the trilogy, right, that Army of Darkness doesn't really fit, or doesn't, because Evil Dead 1 and 2 are set.
In the cabin.
And there's
stuff.
And Evil
Scary,
Dead, the
and
first
there's lots
Evil
of
Dead is
blood.
actually supposed
It's
to be
scary.
serious, and
Yeah,
then they
yeah,
embraced
yeah.
the fact that people didn't take it seriously,
Yeah.
and then they went with it for the
So the
second.
third one
Yeah.
is, like you said, slapstick. The third one is in-your-face comedy.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
love
I
that
fucking
movie
love
so
it.
much.
I love the part
When he
in
goes
the
to get the books. Oh,
yeah, and like the part where the
eh,
army
no.
skeleton guys and the guy's like, let's get out of
get
here.
out of here.
Let's get out of here. And the show is brilliant. Ash versus Evil
Oh,
Dead.
stop
It's
it.
so
Stop
good.
it.
Like it's actually like a lot better than what I expected. Like I don't even know what I expected, but I was just like mind blown. Like it's amazing.
You could even like talk about, I mean, Man with the Screaming Brain.
Yeah.
Like you can talk Bubba Hotep. Like
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of Bruce Campbell's shit is just
all comedic.
fucking
Yeah, I know.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like even like there's one scene in Ash versus Evil Dead season 2. I think I made you watch it where he is like there's a body and it's obviously a zombie, but the sternum is like cut open and like remember when he gets his head forced into the butthole and then he's like in the the zombie like in the dead body and like his face is like actually like tearing through the stomach and he's like inside of the fucking butthole and Bruce Campbell's just like no like who fucking thinks of that shit? It's brilliant. I love it. So huge shout out to Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh,
That movie
All right.
is
All right.
so fucking funny. It's hilarious. Cabin in the Woods. I am a big Joss Whedon fan,
That's
and
on the
like I
list.
thought it was fucking hilarious. Gremlins 2.
good one.
Gremlins 2 is so like
Ba,
over the
ba,
top,
ba,
funny.
ba,
Is it really
comedic.
horror though?
I
don't know.
consider it
Yeah.
like in
Like
the horror
I
section.
feel like with this, I had a really hard time, and my list is very narrow because I feel like the line of horror comedy is like so. It's like super. It's super thin.
Well, here
like
Army of Darkness, is that really a horror, right? Like Gremlins and Army, they both have blood.
I
they
would
both
say
have
because
blood.
it's part of that trilogy, yes. I wouldn't consider it as a standalone film a horror movie.
Right.
But because it's, it
follows.
It follows Evil Dead and then Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I did have a hard time because I feel like for me, like my definition of that obviously everybody's definition is going to be different. So mine is a little different.
Well, I feel like when it comes to horror comedies, there is like two definitions in my mind, and one is movies like House and like Tucker and Dale versus Evil are like meant to be comedic, but then there's the ones that were like Society. Was that actually like meant to be funny, or it was just like Brian Usna decided to like make this like fucking weird movie, and then it's considered funny to people, but he didn't think that that's what he meant, and
look at your shirt.
Yeah,
Terrorvision is hilarious.
I know, and that's obviously I think that was meant to be comedic, but it's like a lot of the like a lot of the movies on my list where I was just like, well, like did Peter Jackson did he mean Bad Taste and Dead Alive to be funny, or like did he just make whatever he wanted to make, and then it's just up to the audience to you know what I mean? And I don't know. I think it obviously was meant to be funny, like a fucking priest that's like, I kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah,
like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Return of the Living Dead, I think is like funny in its own way because I think of the acting as well, because he's just like,
I would say that one, much like you said, like Evil Dead, that's the first thing you think of, like Dead Alive, that's the first one that I think of because of the one-liners, because of like
how ridiculous it is,
the lines and the delivery, and like just like some of the absurd situations, like the fucking baby and shit.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Like
your mom ate my dog.
It's meant to be fucking funny. So that one to me is like the pinnacle. Dead Alive is the pinnacle.
Yeah,
of
for
horror
sure.
Comedy because it's so fucking gory.
Well, definitely
so much blood.
The ones that were like meant to be funny, the Ghoulies and Basket Case sequels.
Yeah,
because
like those are movies like that. I could go on forever. Like Ghoulies, like stuff like that. I mean, a lot of those.
Well, but the first one,
like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was obviously
you can really go on forever with those. That genre.
Yeah. Well, the Ghoulies, like the first Ghoulies, it's just like Evil Dead. Like the first Evil Dead was meant to be scary, and the first Ghoulies is as well. The first Basket Case is deranged.
Yeah.
But the Ghoulies and Basket Case sequels are horror comedy for sure.
Right.
Like especially the one where Ghoulies goes to college.
Yeah. Oh my god, you're
like, you know what I
me.
mean? Like it's just like those are comedic, and like it's also like the music too. Like when they add that like music in the horror movies, it's like, hey, that's like obviously not taken seriously whatsoever. And obviously anything trauma.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so
that's
like trauma as
given.
like a whole are like horror comedy combined, and like my favorite ones are Killer Condom and Rabid Grannies. Killer Condom is so fucking funny, it's ridiculous, and Rabid Grannies, oh my god, that movie's amazing. Do you guys remember the movie Dead and Breakfast?
No.
Okay, it's actually pretty good. It's like a play on words, like bed and breakfast, and it's got like a couple songs in it too. But it's actually really gory though. It's like very gory.
Yeah,
there's one song where
I'm
they're like
sorry.
talking about coming to kill you, and he's like, "We're coming to kill you. We're coming to kill you. Coming to kill you."
I can't do songs.
It depends for me. Like I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. I can watch and sing along.
Oh
with that movie,
but that's
over
different.
and
Like
over again.
like. It depends on the context. Like
I know.
That's like a movie that was based on
a musical.
a play.
Yeah.
Like in Family Guy when they bust into song now and then, and you're like, "Come on!"
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I cringe a little for sure.
Yeah.
I have to be in the mood to watch a musical, but this one is not a musical. They have a couple
There's
songs.
just a weird song in the
but
middle,
it's
and
really
you're like,
gory
what the
and it's
fuck?
funny. It's hilarious. Remember Black Sheep?
Yep.
Come on.
I love that fucking
Tell me
movie.
you have Rubber on there then. If you're
yes,
gonna mention
yeah.
Black Sheep, you have to mention Rubber.
Rubber was
I
pretty
actually,
funny,
I don't really remember Rubber, but I remember like when I watched it, I was like surprised at how funny it was.
It actually was
Like,
pretty good.
like,
It's like the tire has a fucking personality. How
I
the
know.
fuck did they do that?
I think
And
it's
they made a
hilarious.
whole like hour and a half film out of it.
I know, out of a
I know.
goddamn
Good.
rolling
Yeah,
tire.
it was good. Yeah, and Grabbers. Did you ever watch Grabbers?
No.
It's an Irish movie about this like alien kind of tentacle like monster, and it kills sober people. So if you want to survive, you have to be drunk.
Love it.
Yeah, so they're all like in this like it's in Ireland, a very like desolate bar, and they all have to get wasted to like defeat this monster. But because they're all drunk, they like can't coordinate their bodies and shit. Like it's actually really really funny. And Slither.
Come on.
Yeah, obviously, like, James Gunn. Slither is so fucking funny. And Deathgasm.
Yeah, that's a
I
good one.
loved Deathgasm. Like, the dildo fight.
That's a good one.
That shit was hilarious. And the Dead Snow movies.
Oh, I love Dead Snow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Morgan hasn't seen part 2.
I haven't seen the second one.
It's like
I saw
a
the first
million
one.
times
okay.
better than the first one because they had a bigger budget. So it's hilarious. And The Final Girls was like one of my like favorite releases from last year. It was written by Joshua John Miller from Near Dark. And obviously What We Do in the Shadows.
That's a good one, but it's not really
But it's
horror,
not-
but it's still fucking great.
I know. I was gonna say
so
like
funny. But for sure, I'm gonna end my list with like the most pinnacle important horror comedy. I think for sure, Shaun of the Dead.
I forgot about that one.
Shaun of
Yeah.
the Dead, I think is like it's like the number one.
Totes forgot.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's flawless. That movie is flawless.
It is a really fucking good movie.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I'll never get sick of watching that movie. I even like the other ones like Hot Fuzz and World's End.
World's End. Oh, love World's End.
Yeah, but
Love
Shaun of the
it.
Dead, yeah, when I think like horror comedy, obviously like Evil Dead 2, the one that I think of like the
Yeah.
most, but like out of like that genre, Shaun of the Dead is up there.
Yeah.
I would say it almost treads into parody territory, though.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Not almost. It's pretty much straight up.
Because I like personally I think it is a great fucking movie. I wouldn't say it's a horror movie. I just think it's like a comedy with zombies in it.
No, I think it's both.
A parody.
It's a horror.
It's a zombie parody movie.
Yeah,
Right.
well, because it's got some decent gore.
Oh
in
yeah,
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the roommate gets like torn in half from
Yeah,
his like
yeah.
stomach and shit. So yeah, but that's a great movie. It's so adorable.
Yeah. It's so adorable.
Yeah.
It is. Morgan, do you have anything to add to her list?
No, like I said, my list is really small because like I feel like there's like the line is like super like thin between horror and comedy. So like my main one is Dead Alive. Mm-hmm. It's fucking funny. Oh, P.S. This fucking scene right here, the like bat skeleton guy in his fucking like.
He just like flies away into the night.
He's just,
Bye.
spelunking to hell.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Sprackenstiel.
He's just spelunking to hell. No big deal. But yeah, so Dead Alive is like I would say my number one. Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
And Return of the Living Dead.
Henrietta,
Yeah.
someone's been in my fruit
Fruit
cellar.
cellar.
Someone with a
Someone
fresh
with a fresh
soul. Did you know that it's Ted Raimi?
Yes, I did know that. Like, that's actually pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up.
That's pretty fucked up.
It is.
Pretty fucked up.
Very fucked up. Yeah, my list is small because I have a hard time because I feel like a lot of them are like strictly horror. Some of them are parody. Some of them, like you said, like are not even really supposed to be funny, but they fucking are. Like Society.
Yeah, like Society.
Yeah.
Like that movie is fucking hilarious.
Like that. It's like that end scene is like everybody is literally like melted fucking cheese on a pizza, just like writhing around. Like that's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. But
Yeah.
I don't think that they meant for it to be that way.
Yeah.
So
All right,
Megan! Drum roll, please.
I've already mentioned it. Feast and Feast 2.
Great movie.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Henry
Do
Rollins.
you not like the third
Henry
one?
Rollins. No, fuck the third one.
I don't really remember.
Directed
it, to be
by
honest.
Clu Gulager's son.
Yeah, and Clu
Like,
Gulager is the bartender.
Those
right.
movies are so funny.
Yeah, they are hilarious.
Creep
actually.
Show, which shame on both of you for not
Yeah.
remembering Creep Show.
I
Well,
don't really think it's funny though.
What?
Well,
You don't
the
think they're
Stephen
funny?
King like
But and so is the one with that white-haired guy, Leslie Nielsen. I mean, it's funny. No?
I guess
Oh,
it depends
funny.
though
It's
because
funny.
personally, the Creep Show to me, when I watched it when I was a kid, it scared me. So to me, that's not shit. That shit's not funny. Same with House. Like, I know that this is considered to be a horror comedy, but when I I associate this movie with still being scared, so it's a scary movie.
The tagline for Creepshow is "You'll never have so much fun watching."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
true,
So
yeah.
it's geared towards comedy. Like they even said, "You'll have a lot of fun watching this." Spit all over myself.
Like I can see like the segment with Stephen King being the funny one, but I find the other ones like more like just straight up like horror stories.
I guess. I come on, but again, it's like one of those things where it was actually meant to be funny because, like I said, they promoted it like that. But like even looking back now, like where's my cake? And that scene with Ed Harris' dance moves. So maybe it's like Society where like that wasn't supposed to be funny, but looking back on it,
well, maybe back then though, like because like when people would go to see horror movies in the theaters, like they think it's funny when they get scared. You know what I mean? So like when the scare happens,
well, and it was different. It was different from Halloween though. Halloween was very like the soundtrack was scary, and like Halloween had like a dark setting. I think it was just the setting that the horror was presented in was less dark, maybe less morbid than.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to add, I can't watch the scene with Ed Harris lying on that gravestone.
Oh, really? Why?
Because he has ample time to move out of the way.
He's wasting pants.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because he was doing some sweet dance moves.
Fuck that.
But like, he's just lying there. Oh, here's Big Ben. He fucking looks awesome.
He looks real.
Someone should be him for Halloween.
Oh my god!
Oh wow, that's an expensive costume.
The makeup and the special effects for this are fucking.
Yeah,
real.
they're amazing.
This shit scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid.
So I also have Feast, Creepshow, Leprechaun in the Hood, which I recently watched. He gets so stoned. He's like, "What is this? That smells interesting." And so he gets really fucking high, and then he wheels hose.
I think I remember watching
He wheels hose.
That's
he
funny.
has a hoe train in Leprechaun in the Hood.
I should rewatch it. I watched
It's
it.
good. I'm telling you, it's good. Snoop
what about
Dogg's
the
in it.
second one?
Ice-T's in it.
Back to
the
the
second
Hood.
one. No, fuck
Oh,
the
okay,
second
no,
one. We're not even
okay.
talking about that. That's not funny.
All right, that's not funny. We're talking funny. That's not funny.
Drag Me to Hell.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I mean, Sam Raimi.
Another one that's meant to be kind of out
you know what
there,
I love
right?
about that movie? How many times she gets shit in her mouth.
I know.
It's fantastic.
And I feel like that's like a running joke. In that film.
Like bugs, blood, like everything goes in her mouth. It's great.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I do love him. Yeah.
Piranha. So this is like the 2000 whatever Piranha with Eli Roth in it.
Oh yeah.
Hilarious.
They took my penis.
They took my penis. They took my
I
penis.
never saw 3DD though. Is it good?
Oh,
I
shit.
saw 3D.
It's not. It's 3DD isn't as good as Piranha with Eli Roth, but it's way more. It's way more sorority, fraternity based. Like, it's way more like, oh, titties, and like, it's not as great, but it's still good.
Yeah, I haven't seen those movies in a long time. I should rewatch them.
And
I
then,
always
like,
forget that Joe Dante directed the original.
Yeah.
My very last one, which is maybe just funny to me, but again, anything horror where a horror character, like in Leprechaun, gets high makes me laugh.
Yeah.
So Freddy versus Jason, where Freddy fucks with like the stoners, and it's like a bunch of rave kids, and Jason goes to the rave in the cornfield. Like, that movie killed me. Freddy versus Jason killed me.
I like that movie. It's so nostalgic to me.
Funny, and at the end where Freddy winks, like, that's funny, right?
Yeah, it is.
Freddy Krueger did kind of turn into like a
comedian,
a comedy,
like a punchline.
Yeah.
Welcome to primetime. Like, that's funny.
Yeah, like he is a fucking parody of himself. I mean, originally it was supposed to be scary, but then he kind of morphed into like the one-liner guy, and that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool because that's what he is now.
Yeah,
but
bitch,
everything's bitch. Everything.
Everything's bitch.
Everything's bitch.
That's awesome.
And I mean, we're probably missing like 1,000, right? Like, there's so many movies that we watch now, and we're just like,
for sure.
I mean, not like I Spit on Your Grave or anything like that, 'cause those movies aren't funny. Yasmina smiles. I saw that.
Because I love the kills in the remake, man. The kills in the remake are
It doesn't make up for the 15-minute rape scene.
Oh, the first movie is literally like 80%
the
of
first
it.
movie is but the remake, I love the kill scenes. Like, they're just like
the eyeball
genius.
one's my favorite.
Oh fuck, so good. Also, I just love Roger Cobb is at the end of the movie, like, he's like trying, like, I feel bad for him at this point because he's trying so hard and he's still like staying in this house. Yeah. It's just like he's struggling, and it's just like, what else is gonna happen? Flying skeleton bat. Oh, fucking Big Ben.
Yeah.
I love that. if there's an action figure for Big Ben, I want it.
Oh, yeah. They could have made his face a little bit slimier, I think. But overall, like, this scene is the most terrifying part of the movie for me.
I just love the makeup.
Yeah. Like, anything that looks... It still holds up to me.
There's a part in Poltergeist 2, if you remember, where after the dad drinks the worm and that creature comes out of his mouth and anyways looks like that face.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's very similar to that.
I'm gonna beat him with his own arm.
Yeah.
That's not going well, though. He's like not even fucking flinching.
Yeah.
He's blocking all the shots.
Yeah, I just love the way that the special effects on his face, like...
We're idiots!
What?
Stop everything!
Did
We're
you just
talking
remember
about
a movie?
only the pinnacle of horror comedy, American Werewolf in London.
Oh, yeah.
Come on!
Yeah, that got some comedy in it.
It's literally a comedy movie. It was like advertised as a horror comedy.
Yeah.
It was so
Yeah,
funny.
I did see that actually when I was looking it up on Wikipedia.
Oh, I could just kick everything on. Fucking
Well, I do enjoy the soundtrack placement in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, because when he's first transforming and it plays that, like, upbeat song, like, I do like that.
And then his friend visits him in, like, the porn theater, and it's, like, his dead friend. Oh, it's funny.
Lots of new things came out because of October and Halloween.
And Stranger Things.
Yeah, so Stranger Things too.
Ooh, thank you.
Did you watch it, Megan?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, well, we're not gonna say anything that spoils anything, obviously. But I do love that show. I think the first season definitely blew my mind. And the second season, I feel like the first like half like dragged a little bit. But I know that Morgan, you had the issue with that other storyline with her,
with
like
11,
the other girl. But like I feel like it was kind of necessary because she needed to, you know, go out and explore and figure out who she is.
I get that.
And then so she could come back to what she wants and what she loves, and it's to like, you know, be with the boys and everything. But it got 15 million views over the weekend.
That's crazy.
That it, like, when it came out on that Friday.
Amazing.
Yeah, and there's these new McFarlane toys
cool.
actually that just came out. So if you guys are big fans of that show, you should check them out because they look great.
That is really fucking cool. Yeah. Yeah, like I liked it. I think the first season, I don't know, I'm kind of a fan of the idea that like you have something that's magical and perfect, and to try to like keep to recreating that magic is a little bit to me. So I felt like the second season the magic was lost a little bit.
Well,
I've read that a lot online.
Yeah,
but
it's like
apparently
it asks. There's too many questions that are answered where I feel like a lot of times it's like if you leave the end of like a series or a movie just kind of like with those questions, it leaves a more indelible effect, I think.
Then you leave a bunch of angry people though,
No,
like Firefly.
not at all. No. That's like fucking filming that shit at the end of the first fucking Nightmare on Elm Street, like where it's like, oh, everybody likes this movie, so now we have to make a sequel. You know what I mean? It's like
what it's like is like Lost in Translation when Bill Murray says whatever he says. That's what it's like. It's like that's the best part of the movie.
It's like at the end of Martyrs where she fucking whispers what she sees.
That's what it's
you will
like.
never know.
Yeah,
that's the feeling that I felt like with Stranger Things. Like I felt like at the end of the first season, they added a couple extra things at the end that were like, let's make it so we leave the story open. Like, I felt like there was a point where it actually did end, and then they decided to add more, where he's like putting the Eggos in the box in the fucking forest and shit. Like, and I get that because it's popular, everybody wants to sort of cash in on it. But now it's like, okay, so now there's going to be a season 3 and a season 4, and it's like where the fuck are they gonna take that shit?
Well,
like,
I was reading online, and the Duffer Brothers said that this season 2 was more based on like the struggles of the characters, like being
it's like character
without
development.
11 and everything.
Yeah.
And apparently season 3 is gonna be like a lot more monsters and shit.
That's cool.
Yeah, so,
I hope so.
I mean, I'm gonna continue watching it and stuff.
For sure,
but due to the success of the first season, like I can see why they obviously wanted to continue with it. I mean, if they offered him, like them, sorry, like, like a great deal. Like, they're
It's
not
just
gonna
a
say
risk.
no.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a risk because we've all seen these shows that just go on for like way, way, way too many fucking seasons. Like, you look at like Lost or like even The Walking Dead at this point, which I bring up every episode as an example of something
Yeah.
that's just turned into garbage. Yeah, it's just gone on for too long.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they don't do that. I hope they keep every season interesting.
Yeah, and
yeah.
that they've planned it.
And it was like
ahead
it
of
was
time.
interesting.
Was
Like
it? Okay.
it wasn't boring, and I fell in love with Bob.
Yeah.
I fucking love Sean Astin so much.
Actually, you know what?
His
I can't
character
lie.
is
I actually think that Steve is.
Steve Harrington is awesome.
Steve is like his hair. Oh my god!
I know.
He's so
I just want to
Charlie
run my
Sheen.
fingers
I love
through it. Yeah, it's
know.
so true.
He's amazing.
Yeah. Well, Creep 2 came out, and I watched it,
still
and
didn't
it's
watch
fucking
it.
fantastic, just like the first one. It's great. I watched Happy Death Day, which is the guy who also did Zombie, the Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse,
How was
which is
it?
hilarious, which is actually another really
That's another good one.
horror comedy. Arnold's son is in it, and yeah. It's a
Which
great
one? The illegitimate one with the fucking
no,
housekeeper.
the one that
I'm
dated
just
Miley
kidding.
Cyrus. But yeah, so the guy who did the Scout's Guide to Zombie Apocalypse, which I think was a success, did this new movie called Happy Death Day, and I rented it, and it's good, but it's basically Groundhog Day and a supernatural episode. Like, it's like the exact same story.
That's all it looked
But
like on the trailers.
it's still a
too.
good movie. Like, so it's a girl that, like, she wakes up on her birthday and gets murdered, and
then
then
has
like
to
keeps
figure
waking
out.
up, and she has to figure out who her murderer is.
There's a movie
There's
like
a
that though.
Groundhog Day.
No, not Groundhog Day. Fucking what's her name? Megan Fox or someone is in one of these movies where it's where she has to find her own killer. It's
Right.
There's literally a movie just
Okay.
like that.
Well, there's a supernatural episode where Dean keeps getting killed, and I was like, well, that's like the same
Yeah.
plot. But I mean, whatever. I'm not judging them for stealing the idea or anything like that.
mean,
Like,
it's
I
a
mean,
pretty
it's like
common
a lot of
idea.
ideas are
Yeah.
obviously going to be recycled, like when you're running out of ideas. But it was still, like, it was actually an interesting movie. Like, I like how she figured out how to get over like the hump or whatever. And so everybody online freaked out about the new Halloween that's coming out next year.
Right,
So
yeah.
the
Because
photo,
of that fucking- the
that
picture,
that Jamie
everybody
Lee
fucking
Curtis,
lost their mind.
everyone shared it. So the picture with Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers, and John Carpenter is an executive producer and a composer
Well, that's
on
cool.
it. And I actually didn't know that John Carpenter also wrote a song for a Stranger Things episode for season 2 as
cool.
well. And we're actually going to see him this weekend.
Yeah,
he's playing
that's
in
gonna be
Toronto.
fucking
That's gonna be
awesome.
fucking
We
amazing.
need
Yeah,
to,
he's
like,
on this. He's
smoke
on
all
tour
the
right
weed
now.
before
I
we
know,
go
right?
in there.
Yeah. And so the new Halloween, now this is interesting. It's directed by David Gordon Green, who also directed Pineapple Express. Like, so he hasn't done horror. And
That's
but him and
interesting.
Danny McBride,
yeah.
they wrote the screenplay together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
gonna be good.
it's gonna be
It's gonna
good
be good,
because
yeah.
I'm sorry, Pineapple Express is a fucking
good.
hilarious movie.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
It's great. But basically, it's like a sequel to the first one, so they're just completely ignoring the sequels. So it's just gonna like take place like 40 years after the very first movie.
Right.
And speaking of like remakes, they are remaking Pet Sematary. I know, Megan. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know. She's a big Stephen
But
King
any
fan.
remake, I don't even care. Why?
I know. Well, I don't know. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again, I will give anything a chance. And if it's good, good job, I praise it. And if it's bad, then I say fuck off.
How'd the Carrie remake go for you? How did that turn out? It was awful.
I don't even remember it, to be honest.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And the movie was called I Know Who Killed Me with Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, yeah.
Not Megan Fox,
That's funny.
not
I,
Megan
Fox.
I,
One of those
I think she's like
girls.
naked, like full frontal
Oh,
naked in that movie.
tits
I don't know
out,
why I
yeah.
know that.
Good
But the Pet Sematary
That's so
remake,
sad. I didn't know they were doing
I'm
that.
actually kind of excited about it because the directors that, the duo directors that did Starry Eyes are doing it. And I don't
like
know.
Starry Eyes.
I
Fine.
know Morgan hasn't
haven't
seen
seen
it.
it
Fine,
but
I
that
like
was
Starry Eyes.
I know. Fine, I'll give it a chance. But
We'll
yeah,
see.
Starry Eyes was a very interesting movie. I thought it was good. So I know. We'll see. We'll see how it is.
Yes, we will.
Whatever. This movie's finally over.
Yep,
It
is.
went on forever.
Yep.
Nothing happened.
A bunch of ghosts.
There was
And
some
goblins
shit.
and shit.
Yeah, William Cobb.
I have like a couple more extra
William Cobb.
things.
William Cat. Frog Cobb.
William Cobb.
You're
Megan and I
It's time for
drunk.
me to sleep.
Megan and I drank this entire bottle of wine.
I know.
during
I
this
drank
fucking
water.
episode.
Meh.
I might call in sick tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
It's
Yeah.
half a bottle of wine.
Yeah, but like,
You have a vagina for a face.
I'm dying. Hello.
Yeah, we did a step class today. We're dying.
Yeah. So what? A couple more things. The X-Files are renewed an 11th season.
Oh my god, I love the
That's
episode
fucking
with the
cool.
guy from Flight of the Conchords.
Yes,
That was such a good
cool.
episode.
That was super fucking cool.
Yeah.
And also, Rawhead Rex. I think we talked about this is getting a 4K restoration.
Yeah, I played in some theaters.
Yeah, and we knew that like the Suspiria one was touring around and stuff like that. We never
Yeah.
did get to see it, but
Nah.
I'm
I'll buy it on
imagine
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
it would be fucking amazing because the colors and just the aesthetic of that movie are fucking amazing.
Beautiful.
So that'd be super cool. That's all I've got. I saw some shit about M. Night Shyamalan, but fuck that guy.
He's off and
Well,
on
no,
for
because
me.
remember we talked about Split
Yeah.
at one point, and the
Village
weird
and all
thing
that.
at the end where it kind of turned into
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. So now he's actually tying the movies together, and he is making sequels.
Well, Unbreakable
them
is a
together.
good movie, so
It is, and
We'll see.
Split is a part of that.
yeah. And I liked it.
Idea?
I liked Split.
I like Split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's making the sequel to that, like, I guess in production now. That's
Awesome.
going to tie the two worlds together, I suppose.
Cool. All right. Well, we're gonna sign off now. We have to go home and feed our cats.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for listening. As always, we love every one of you for listening to this podcast. And it's almost our 2-year anniversary. is
Yeah.
coming up
You're
soon.
fucking lying.
I know, right?
You're fucking lying to me.
Dude, we recorded our very first unreleased episode on my birthday, and my birthday is December.
This is
And that was
bullshit.
2 years ago.
I don't believe it.
Bullshit.
Are we going to
I call
release
bullshit.
the
Yeah.
unreleased? Are we going to go
Never.
back in time? It's
I
so
know.
bad.
It was
Let's-
what movie? What did we?
It was Brain Damage.
Brain damage.
Brain damage.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, brain damage. Yeah, it was a trial. We'll never release it.
If one day we're like super, super rich or something,
Yeah, I'll be like, listen to this god.
and if someone will pay like a ridiculous
It's like
amount just to
releasing
hear our
your
voices.
demos
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I'm going to make a little bit
Yeah,
of money off this
super
shit."
rare. Witch finger limited release.
Yeah, you know what's rare? Us sucking.
Yeah.
That's fucking right.
Awesome. On that note, I hope you guys have a good night.
Bye.
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 Feeling better now that we're